There's a reason why South Africa is having to contend with the challenge of illegal immigration. And the reason is that those on the other side know that once they cross into South Africa, things begin to work. Roads are smoother. General infrastructure is better. And the affirmation of the right to human dignity is more pronounced on South African shores than in their country of origin. This is what gave rise to what is known or was known as South African Exceptionalism. South African Exceptionalism just meant that as a country we're insulated from problems that used to characterize most of the developing world. That is like your coup d'etats that could happen at any time, abuse of human rights like freedom of speech, access to healthcare services, and the like. But now the phenomenon of state capture poses a present danger to the enjoyment of rights in South Africa, human rights in South Africa, in a manner that one could not have imagined. When we talk about South African exceptionalism, it boils down to institutions. Because our constitution mandates our government to establish Chapter 9 institutions that would make sure that human rights are the lived experience of everyday South Africa, young and old, rich and poor. These institutions are exactly what state capture is threatening. The recent expose by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi have put paid to any doubt that state capture is still in operation. State capture is well and alive. The only difference is that it is under new management. The recent response of the state president, Cyril Ramaphosa, to the allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has got one serious shortcomings. When your house is burning, you don't go to investigate. Why? You don't go around the house and try to investigate why the house is burning. You must put out the fire, and then you can investigate the cause to the fire. The president has failed to put out the fire, and I think it was by design. The commissions that are going to spend over a year, and from our history, we know that they usually take longer. The commissions have bought the criminal syndicates enough time to continue to loot. This means that the murder rate of 70 people a day will continue until such time the commission finishes its work and miraculously the findings are implemented, if it will ever happen. Hopefully they will be implemented. Now, the capture of South African institutions poses a serious threat to every South African in a way that one could not have imagined. Because of state capture and the operation of criminal networks, we are seeing the emergence of a vampire society underpinned by a vampire economy, underpinned by vampire corporations, and in this vampire economy you have got all manner of scams. pay-to-play scams schemes where you have to pay to renew your driver's license, you have to pay to renew to jump the queue. This is a situation where those who are employed, given the privilege of serving the South African public, have monetized free government services that South Africans are entitled to. We are seeing the emergence of the one big man syndrome associated with dictatorships, associated with failed state, where your success depends on your political connectivity, whether you have got money or not. This is exactly what is happening. I have got personal anecdotes to tell about my experience of the emergence of a vampire economy. There was this young man who had just been fired without due process. It was towards the end of the month. He just got a letter from the employer that you must not come to work. No salary, no nothing. I accompanied this young man to the CCMA. And when we got there, even the process at the CCMA is such that is designed to disempower you. The gate is locked. You register and somebody comes to fetch you, and you alone. And mind you, this is a young man who was on his first job. He has never worked before that job. He goes in there. When he comes out, he's got a document in his hand. They've made him sign a settlement that says he's agreeing to being laid off. Some funny agreement that basically prejudices the rights of this young man. And that was the end of it. Recently, I took up MTN South Africa month-to-month contract, and I took it via an agent over the phone, agreed to the quotation that he gave me, and paid the amount. Immediately after paying the amount and after I just started using the service, SMS comes from MTN. They are charging me an additional monthly charge, despite the fact that I just started using the service. I followed up the matter. After a month, I got them to talk to me via mediation of the National Consumer Commission. I got them, during the mediation, I got them to accept that they overcharged me. And we were now discussing how they could make sure that I'm compensated. Before we could finish the discussion, MTN official drops a letter. She's closing the matter. MTN has corrected their mistake. End of the story. So South Africans were in big trouble. There is going to be no longer any human rights to be enjoyed by South Africans, because the rich and powerful can buy their way out of every situation. After that incident, I then watched, I began to join the dots. I then watched a documentary about MTN's case in Iran. And then it just clicked that, oh no man, this is a highly politically connected corporation, vampire corporation. It's a vampire corporation. I realized that our president currently was the chairman of MTN. Mr. Mcebisi Jonasi, envoy to USA, who's being rejected, is the current chairman of MTN. That explained why the National NCC was tiptoeing around this case and eventually just threw the case. South Africans have got to wake up because we're in a